I mean, I've never gigged in Belfast, so I mean, I've had like comedians from all over the place. Am I a biggest prick that when I talk about comedy in UK, I just leave Ireland out of it?
Well, to me, I'd be an Irish nationalist, so I'm happy enough if you leave Ireland out of it. Like,
Yeah,
I uh, I think Belfast sort of is growing as a scene in terms of like it was always Dublin. Dublin was the sort of comedy scene, but Dublin in itself is now sort of being rivaled by Belfast, and because like we should have had Kevin Hart come and live here for months on end and just
yeah.
be in Belfast. So having Kevin Hart on your circuit kind of helps.
I mean, that
Obviously,
bang.
none of us got to meet him because he was brought in by security and stuff. But
I can imagine. But
yeah, but
like, but so can you gig? Actually, once again, I'm gonna say north and south of the border. Like,
yeah. So like
yeah,
it's
like is that calm? Like, if you to me, okay, once again, going down as well. If you're Irish, you're Irish.
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me either way whatsoever. Like, can you? Is gigging just like all over the place in Ireland, just cushy still?
Yeah, well, like Ireland to me, it is just Ireland. Like so, and like there's a lot of I find Dublin maybe harder because you can't be as parochial with your comedy and stuff like that there. Well, in Belfast you can. So Dublin you kind of need to bring your A game because there's a lot of tourists. But like at the same time, that makes you a better act because you're going to work harder on material that isn't just referring to a street name that someone doesn't like.
I guess yeah, like shadow boxing is a lot easier than boxing in the ring against an opponent. You would need, the duck and dive. You need, like all this best game, but you also need to be able to like change up your material, change on the spot. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had one Irish comedian on, and there was I don't want to go too far down this road, so I'll bang it out now about the Catholic Protestant shit.
But yeah, I have no like I like doing stuff like that there, and people sometimes they would say that it's hack or that it's easy to do, low hanging fruit. But if it works, it works is my sort of thing of like people. It's like to a younger generation who didn't experience any trauma of the
Yeah,
troubles. It's funny to them, so I'm sort of think that and someone said recently, because there was a while where people were sort of maybe like looking down on that sort of comedy in Northern Ireland, but to me, it's back and it's better than ever, baby. Like, and I think that's sort of something that definitely it works and everyone relates to it. Like, it's like
I,
people going to Glasgow and saying, "Oh, are you doing Celtic Ranger stuff?" But if it works there, then why wouldn't you do it?
that's the thing. Like I say, I'm a fairly new comedian, and like I've got a couple of low hanging fruit bits in my set, and I feel guilty using them. But then, why should I? If it's
Yeah,
funny, it's funny.
yeah. Like, there's a bit I do, and it's maybe about being in Lidl, and like it's a very fucking low hanging fruit bit that I sort of think, well, that's like I could spend hours on end trying to write jokes about men's mental health and growing up in Northern Ireland and trauma and all that there. But you do a joke about a guy wanking in Lidl, and it takes you 5 minutes to write, and it gets the fucking biggest applause of the night, and you think, well, maybe if it works, and maybe you're thinking too much about something when the most obvious route to the punchline is the one directly in front of you, like.
I guess
So
it's like I know this is not a direct correlation, but it's like, would you rather be respected by the crowd or your peers?
yeah, well, I see. There's something to do with there's certain times where I'll maybe see someone and they're killing, but they are doing stuff that is genuinely hack, and I'm
Yeah,
like that like it's walking a fine line between that is it hack or is it low hanging fruit is probably the best way to be. Like there's certain stuff where like I maybe people who just go up and they'll just do crowd work and they'll only ever do crowd work and it's because they're clip farming. To me, that's hack. But if you do a joke about something that's maybe like a topic that a lot of people do a joke on, that's low hanging fruit. But if it works, it works. Like,
yeah, I've got a love hate relationship with crowd work. Crowd work when all a comedian is crowd work. I think that's hack. I feel sorry, not sorry, obviously. Like there's the goat of goats for crowd work. I say number one in the world is Paul Smith. A lot of people like to think Matt Rife,
yeah,
but crowd work's not even 10% of their arsenal. They're good comedians, but they're known for their crowd work.
yeah. Well,
Like,
it's almost like crowd work is like this stuff that you do when it's not working. So I heard someone say recently. So it's like if I go to a comedy show, I want to sort of watch the act talk about themselves, and I want to see the act sort of bring their psyche to the forefront and stuff like that there. I
Yeah.
don't really want to watch someone talk about to a member of the audience that isn't an MC because to me, I'm not paid to see a crowd work show. I've paid to see a comedy show. So I
Yeah.
think that's sort of an issue for me where like I would like when people call out and stuff like that there and think they're part of the show and the comedian keeps interacting with them, then to me that's I personally find that quite annoying. Like
I get it, and I think like has social media ruined that? Like
yeah,
people want to come to expect it, and then you will get people. Shit, I was in a dead ass gig about 3 weeks ago, pub gig, about 20, 30 people, calm, and this guy, like some of the newer comedians, like one of the guys in the crowd was just kept shouting out, "Oh, have you tried telling a joke? Have you tried being funny?" And it was just like on fucking repeat every 10 seconds. But the guy didn't know how to slap him down. But he only knows to do that, and he thinks that's acceptable by seeing that shit online.
yeah, and the annoying thing about that is that people are now going to sets specifically with their cameras and they're only in stand up two 2 months, like half a year, and they're going with their cameras and they're arriving with recording equipment that is probably cost them a month's wage, and they're filming their sets, and it's like, what are you doing? Because like when I started, I put up a clip of talking about how I worked in an off license, and I remember it wasn't edited; it was just a screen recording off my phone.
Yeah.
Like I remember like sort of going, "What are you doing? Like this is not material. This is just you putting up going. I do stand up." So I feel like
Is it more of a flex?
yeah, it's a flex, and like my thing is like learn to get the material right and learn to be able to MC and then start doing the crowd work clips. But a lot of people they immediately want to put up fucking clips of them doing stand up, and it's like, well, what? Like even friends of mine, I'm like, why are you putting a clip up there where it's literally you talking to an audience member and there's a bit of a laugh. But there's no real like incredible piece of crowd. Like Vittorio Angeloni has this incredible bit where he speaks to someone in the audience who has cancer, and it's a bit of back and forth, and it's an incredible piece of crowd work. And that's the sort of crowd work clips you want, not just some guy going, "What do you do? You work in a school? Oh, you're a pervert. You touch kids." Like that's not worth anyone's time at all. Like
It is, but it's annoying when you do a bit of crowd work, it's golden and you haven't got it on camera as
yeah,
well.
it's
It's
and
like
that's happened. Yeah,
I had one the other day. I'm a twin, so I do like it's all about being the afterthought as a twin. Being the afterthought on the birthday song. I didn't get to blow out my own candles, all that shit. And I asked the audience like, "Oh, is anyone else here a twin?" And there was a disabled woman in a wheelchair, and she was a twin. And then I was like, "Oh, was you like first or second?" She was like, "Oh, second." I was like, "There's probably a long time in between because it took a while to get the chair out your mum also."
yeah,
And it's like she loved it, crowd loved it. Like fuck, I wish I got that on record.
yeah, yeah. It is.
Sometimes
It's so annoying when that happens. Like, but like my thing is sort of like there will be other opportunities just
there'll
like
be
that.
other disabled comedians out. I know other disabled audience members out there.
Yeah, it's just like looking for gold sort of wee nuggets of like, all right, I can sort of speak to this person and stuff. And like I
Yeah,
sort of one thing I've sort of noticed is like when I arrive at a gig and you sort of maybe look at the audience from the back and you know, right, this guy's gonna be a problem, this guy's gonna be a problem, and stuff like that there. But it is like I mean I had a pretty like some gigs you arrive to and you're like, this is gonna be a fucking free one.
yeah.
And like each Saturday night there, I done a gig in a Bangor, a town outside of Belfast, and I thought this is like I'd done it before, and I thought this is gonna be a fucking free one again. Like,
Yeah, it's a setup layup, easy 2 pointer.
yeah, yeah, right, exactly. And then I just got up and ate shit for I was meant to do 25 minutes and done
Good,
20 minutes.
good.
So
You got to admit, at first you worry about eating shit, but I now love hearing about when comedians eat shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I would love it to be a 3 course menu for you, brother. I want the best for you, but I want to hear about the shit. I
Oh
don't want
yeah,
to hear about the times you did well. Who gives a shit? I want to hear about the times you looked at the train track the other way around, being like, how fast does the train have to go to make this a quick kill? Like,
yeah. There's plenty of times like that and stuff. There's plenty of times where like I think the goalposts move in terms of like there's times where I would have maybe done a gig and thought, oh, it was a good gig, and now I maybe go, oh shit, because the
yeah,
goalposts move and you get better and your standards get raised and stuff like that there. So there's definitely gigs where like when I started, I probably would have went, oh, like why isn't that promoter bringing me back? I done well there, but you didn't do well. You kept your head above water, but if you're a promoter and you're booking a night that's trying to sell, then you don't want an act who's going to keep his head above water. You want an act who's going to fucking smash it out of the park, like. And
So how has the goalpost moved since you started?
well, I think when I started
Is it
in
4 years? Yeah.
yeah, so 4 years on Saturday. So when this comes out, it'll be 4 years. And like well, my first gig was a competition which I sort of won, and then I didn't have a mustache at the time. I was very young looking, and I think a lot of people sort of thought I was this wee kid. They thought I was a lot younger than I am, 27 now, and it's just like it immediately I sort of done well for my first four gigs, and then I had my first death and maybe my fifth gig, which was just like so nerve wracking. And then I done a gig in a local bar in Belfast where I had a load of friends and family there, and it went really really well. And but the only reason it went really really well was because there was 60 friends and family there.
Oh, that's
But
fake laughter. That don't count.
yeah, exactly. But to someone who's like,
No,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, to someone who's 2 months in, and
yeah,
you get that, I came away going, oh fuck, I'm a natural at this, and then I done my
yeah.
next couple of gigs, and I realized I'm not a natural at this. And my
You're
first two
paying for
years were sort of,
laughs.
yeah, literally like my first 2 years were literally sort of like hating it and trying to sort of find my feet, and you get jealous of other people and you compare yourself to them, and you die and you what am I doing this for? And there's a lot of nights of just sitting in bars or getting buses and stuff out there, and you're going, what the fuck am I doing? And I work in a school, so I'm always like, but I'm not in a good paid position working in a school. I just work as a teaching assistant, and I'm like, should I go back to university? Should I try and get a fucking job? And then it starts sort of slowly coming together. I say this now, I'll probably eat shit tomorrow, but you start to slowly notice that there's little bits of the stand up that are working, and you're starting to develop a character, and then the character becomes who you are on stage, and then you start to realize that this joke doesn't work for me as my persona because I'm maybe too cocky or it's maybe too rude, but this joke does because it's pathetic or because it's make I become the loser in the joke, and that sort of for me really really sort of allowed me to sort of develop. And once you sort of know who you are as an act, then you can sort of write jokes more to your style.
Right, so you like more like the self-deprecation.
Yeah, but like I hate like people who get up in their whole I don't hate, but I find it very frustrating to watch actually get up and their whole set is they never usually do well as them winning. You know what I mean? There's like there's winners and losers, and you had him on recently. Ball fella had his book behind me.
Adam
Uh,
Bloom.
Adam Bloom, yes, has the book about winners and losers and their bets.
Hmm.
So like, if you're an open mic act, I think you need to be a loser in your bits. Well, if you made it, then you can start being the winner in your bits. But
Yeah,
if you're playing a bar that's also has a bowling alley in it, then you're not fucking winning. Like, you know what
yeah.
I mean?
You
Like,
can't act like you're doing the Apollo in front of one man and his dog.
yeah, and like that's why like I see some people and they're getting haircuts before their gigs, and they're arriving again with their recording equipment, and they are good looking. Stand up isn't for good looking people,
Oh,
and
what a prick already.
yeah, and
Can't be
they
good looking and funny.
and they show up and they've got nice shoes, and they
The
uh,
fit misses on the arm, you know.
And they play sports outside, and they want to try this. Same for like people who are like musicians and they're like, oh, I want to give this a go, or they're actors and they're like, oh, I want to give this a go.
But,
A lot of the
but
such as
so I will challenge that though. If okay, look, if it's a good looking male, female, you know, and they look like they got shit together, I don't want to hear about their self deprecation.
yeah.
Oh my god, like honestly, like my hair was like that today and not that today, and just do you know the struggles? Like, no, fuck off. You got pretty syndrome. Like, I don't want to hear about your self deprecation. I want to hear why everyone thinks you're a prick.
Well, yeah, like my thing is, yeah, like if you got someone like Shane Todd, for example, the biggest act in the north,
Hmm.
his in the north of Ireland, his sort of self-deprecating stuff is like he does sort of insult. He's like tallish, blonde hair, blue eyes, and he's got some great jokes about how like you could say his granda fought in World War II, but you wouldn't know which side and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
calm.
he's
Yeah,
self-deprecating the
I was
fact
about
that
to
he
say Hitler's wet dream. Yeah,
yeah,
live.
yeah. He's deprecating the fact that he is good looking and stuff like that there. Well, like you get a lot of people I think who were musicians or they're actors and it hasn't really worked for them as a musician or an actor, and they suddenly think, right, well, stand-up comedy is the next thing for me.
Hmm.
And they immediately sort of walk into it with a certain level of swagger that you're going, well, chill out.
Yeah.
So that. that's my sort of issue. Like I do take it very sort of seriously, and like I hate people who sort of treat it where like they can get up and see it as a hobby where they can do it drunk. I'm like especially if people are paying money and people if people are giving their time, which no one has enough of these days, to stand up, then I'm like that to go watch stand up. I'm like you owe them a good show.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I will challenge on one thing. I think no matter what, always be professional.
Yeah,
I understand that bit. Um, I I go on stage drunk, but I'm a happy drunk, and I okay. Let me rephrase that. I've been doing rugby, American football all my life. I can cane 12 pints and still speak the Queen's English. Well, as butchered as I do it, but I'll go up after 6 pints because it doesn't change my set. I'm a happy drunk. I'm not a sleepy drunk, and so alcohol wise, I think it all depends how it changes you.
yeah, that's a fair point because
If
like
you're
I
an
mean,
angry drunk, if you're a tired drunk, if you're a mumbly drunk, don't do it. But if you become the life and soul of the party and it gives you extra crisp, like then I don't change. As long as Dutch courage doesn't turn you into a Dutch wanker.
yeah, well that's a fair point because like I mean this time last year I done a gig for the BBC and it came out on a Wednesday and I had a gig on the Thursday that sort of not it's sort of known as being a very good gig. Sort of like it's in a town called Strabane and just outside Derry in Ireland, and it's a very fun gig and you're always sort of guaranteed a good time. And I went up and on the way up, me and four other guys drove up to this gig. It's about a 2 hour drive, and we had I was like, well, I've been on TV, I've got this. We had like four cans in the car. Got there, I had another pint. I had about 2 pints there. And by the time I got on stage, I was genuinely forgetting my stuff. And I went, that's a life lesson to be like, right, well, actually, Kieran,
Yeah, well, everyone's different, and you learn that the hard way. And I
yeah,
think like because I had it about three no about 3 4 weeks ago. I'm I think when you start out, you need to grow that ego quick, so that ego gets shot down quick.
yeah.
You need to get yourself humbled real quick and realize, even if you've been on TV, even if you know what I mean, you're starting doing like headline and that, you need to realize you ain't shit, and there's going to be people way better than you.
But yeah, my thing is that like there's a lot of gigs where like I mean there's a gig in the Cathal Road in North Belfast where like it's a great gig and I'd done it twice and both times I'd done well. And the third time, I sort of saw it as an easy room. So the third time, my friend Saul, who I do like a lot of sketches with, he was meant to do it, and he just dropped out. And the guy messaged me, "Do you want to fill in for him?" And I went, "Right, well, this gig's. I'm from North Belfast myself, so I went, this gig it's my cup of tea. Like I got it." And I went on stage and went, "You know what? I'm going to do 10 minutes of new stuff. If it lands here, it'll land anywhere." And it had shit, and it wasn't good, and I felt like I let myself down. And then again, that humbles you, and you go, "Okay, back to the drawing board, back to making this work," because that's what anytime I have felt cocky in stand up, it's basically made me go back and start writing again. Like I remember, like I had a lovely gig on a Friday night, and I thought it was going to be me for the weekend. I was going to have a weekend of just beers with my friends, going out, and I got a text, "You want to do a Saturday afternoon gig?" And I went, "I'm on a roll." The Saturday afternoon gig was terrible, and it ruined the whole weekend. And like then I spent the rest of the weekend angrily rewriting sets and getting frustrated. And that's what it's just like. It's the most you can't make any plans with stand up because it dominates my life at the minute like that. They're like I tried traveling and my friend said the whole time we were traveling it was all I was clearly thinking about was stand up.
Yeah, I mean, how like with like with your life, say like being a TA and stuff. How do you take the comedy hat off? How do you try and progress and not be obsessed, or do you
But
have to be obsessed?
I think you have to be obsessed, but you also like my first 2 years it was really bad and really sort of probably alienated a lot of sort of in work. It was all I was thinking about. I wasn't eating lunch and I was taking lunch, eating lunch, but I was sitting by myself and I was messaging promoters and I was being sort of like in group chats. Who wants to book me? Who wants to book me? Trying to make clips and stuff like that there. And then it's like you kind of just take a step back and you're so focused on this one thing that you don't actually see the woods for the trees like
Yeah,
and then I actually stepped back and went just enjoy it and it'll come. And like I just started doing that. And I done a podcast, which I remember I was so focused on that to be a success, and then it didn't really with two other guys. And we also wanted different things. And
That's the hard thing about like that's why I decided to do this one by myself
yeah,
because it's my show, it's my party. If it goes well, it's on me. If it fucks up, it's on me.
yeah. So like if stand up is like your be all and end all, then you're not like a comedian. Dave Elliott told me when I got back from traveling, a great act, like any like great one of the best guys in the known Irish comedy scene for advice said, in order to do this for a living, you have to live. So
Yeah,
if your whole life is just focused on stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, then you're not going to get any bits because you're not having any life experiences.
yeah. It's weird. They always say you either start comedy in your 20s or your 40s, which is
Yeah,
weird
so
because I started in my 30s. But
yeah, yeah,
like, because you need to be that raw, cheeky chappy 20s,
yeah.
or like the kid who knows nothing, but is the has that like factor, or the 40s where you live life and you can sort of say it. But I guess it doesn't matter how old you are as long as you've got the life experience.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like when like you start and the when it worked for myself, it was just obsessed, obsessed, obsessed. Like I remember like sort of dating someone at the time, and it was all I wanted to do was text her about stand up because it was about this obsession that sort of ate away at me. And then I alienated a lot of people in terms of like, oh, it was all I wanted to talk to them about and stuff. And then I realized that once you step out of that and you start asking people about their day and about their life, and someone says, "Do you want to go to this party or do you want to do this?" and you certainly put the stand up down, and then you start to enjoy it more and you get more inspiration for bits. Because like one of the best things I ever heard was comedian Robbie McShane from Belfast said that not every gig is a gig. Like a lot of
Okay.
gigs aren't worth doing because they will just make you worse, or they will just make you bitter, or they will
Yeah.
just put you off your actual material because it's not working in that gig, and you suddenly think that material is shit. But it's
Oh,
just
that's the
because
problem with open mics. I
yeah,
don't know what it's like in Belfast, but like in I'm from London. I don't really gig much in London anymore. But in London, when you're playing in front of 8 other people who are all other comedians, they don't give a fuck. You're not getting a true reflection of your material.
yeah, that's it. And but also you don't want to do new stuff in a club because you are worried about fucking in the promoter, fucking in front of the promoter, fucking
Yeah.
up. So it's just finding the balance and stuff like that there. Like I run a night where I it's try to be a professional night, but if I am on, I'll jump on, I'll try new stuff with that. I run a new material night. No, but I mean we've only run one night of it. The second night got cancelled due to low ticket sales, so
All
it's
right.
making that really well. But
I mean,
like
bringer spots aren't a thing, are they, over there?
no, and like thankfully there's a thing where like it's almost been stamped out. Like there are people who do get like pissy with you if you don't share it or you don't go down and flyer and stuff like that there. But you're like some of the gigs you go to and you're like, is this worth
Yeah.
like
I,
man?
my other thing is like, if you're not getting paid to do it, they can't bitch and moan.
Yeah, like yeah. But if like for example if I book like, someone for a gig, like I'm doing a gig tomorrow night and it's the headliner's very expensive and the other acts are all getting a nice chunk of change and it's like one of them hasn't shared the event, and it's like share the event, share the event, share the event, and they haven't shared the event, and I'm like, well, like if we come in under the budget, it's kind of annoying. Like, when we don't break even, it's kind of annoying that you're still getting a big chunk of change, but you haven't actually shared this once.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm two ways on that. I think, like, I don't know. Because part of me goes, you know what, it's the promoter's job to promote it. But the other part of me is like, just don't be a dick.
Yeah, my thing is,
It takes 10 seconds to promote something, and it'll make the night better for you also.
well, my thing is, if the bar has booked you, it's on them sort of to promote it because they're going through. And if the bar asks me, can you give the shirt? Sure. But if it's a comic who's booked you and they're sort of taking it themselves, then you sort of owe the comic a bit of respect to be like, right, you've gone out of your way to book me for this. You yourself as a fellow comedian, a colleague.
I mean,
So
is it saturated out there? Like in London, there's too many fucking comedians. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you got to suck a dick to get a 10-minute spot.
it's
Like,
not it's saturated in the sense that there was this explosion after COVID, but
yeah,
then a lot of people wanted to start, like myself, wanted to start doing stand up, and then it became even more. Yeah, people wanted to do it, but then the gigs ran out, so you've got this massive, massive pool of comedians, but not the gigs to do it.
Okay, no, so no, then that emphasizes your point even more. Then that like, look, I have booked you.
Yeah,
Do it. Like, do you know what I mean? I've chosen you out of 20 other people.
yeah, and that's it. Like, because there's like, and like it's growing, and there's people, and like then it becomes the sense of like when there's four gigs maybe going on a Thursday, and there's 40 acts, so say only 20, then we get going. Then people do get nasty, and there is a bit of fucking tension. There's a bit of viciousness and stuff like that there, and people will step over people to get a spot, and that is like where you're like, whoa, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
And you kind of then have to, like to me, that's where you're like, it's become saturated because of the fact that there's not enough gigs, but there's so many acts and stuff like that there, and
yeah,
that's where you have to sort of be ruthless and go, well, who's getting booked? Like, do you have a good 5 minutes, or are you going to go with the guy who's got a good 10 minutes?
yeah. True. I mean, like, I was at, I've not been doing comedy that long, but one thing I was taken back by is that like most comedians I've met are sound as safe. Obviously, we're all a little bit mentally unstable. For fuck's sake, we're comedians.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean? None of us are right in the heads and want to go get approval from X amount of people we've never met before in our lives.
yeah,
Like standard. But the sort of like the bitchiness I wasn't ready for, and but then also I re-challenged that because I'm a big guy, so I don't get intimidated by them. But there's a lot of like online bitchiness and like favoritism, and there's a bit of gatekeeping I wasn't ready for.
yeah. There's yeah, and like I think there's going to be that. Okay, I've spoke to other people and heard it's just like that in DJing, and it's just like that in music and stuff from friends. I think it's just every creative industry is a lot of passionate people who, unfortunately, like the passion gets in the way of like sometimes maybe they allow themselves to say stuff, and myself included have said stuff that maybe you regret and stuff, or maybe you're in a green room and you're like, oh fuck this guy, how does he get that now? And I've always regretted it, or I've
Mm.
always been like, there's someone there in that green room who is friends with him, and then you need to actually be careful what you say, because it is a competitive thing, and sometimes passions get the better of you, and you but as long as you sort of learn the lesson of like, you don't say that, or you don't fucking insult that person in front of their friend and stuff. But like
Oh,
obviously
I
there's
mean,
times when,
I would never shit on any other comedian unless they shit on me first,
yeah, and obviously there's,
and then I'll do a YouTube video on it, and it gets X thousand views, and they get hated on. But
well, yeah, yeah, and like it is. There's obviously there's times where like there's people that do stuff and it is bad, and you sort of have to bring it up in a green room where you're chatting about it. Like, did you see that there?
yeah,
Because they've done something so mental that if you didn't talk about it, it would
yeah.
be mad. Like,
Yeah, like,
because,
and also obviously you see that comedian that one night, but he might. And it's like you tell a friend who tells a friend who tells a friend. If everyone does that, all of a sudden it's like thousands of people.
yeah, and
The
but,
ripple effect. Like I speak to you, you'll speak to a comedian tomorrow, who will then speak to another comedian. It's like eight times eight times eight. Like the amount of comedians you interact with on a weekly basis is mental.
yeah, but it's also the thing of like, if someone is being a fucking head case at a gig, or if they are saying inappropriate stuff, or they are doing stuff that is like ridiculous or so unprofessional. I also think that it's fair game to be like, what way was that person behaving like? Because you don't want to book them for that gig if they're going to risk it. Like I run a gig and I remember an act. It's a gig that a lot of like it's in a bar that a lot of hipsters would go to.
Yeah,
But hipsters are still people who are going to laugh. And the guy got up and went, "Oh fuck you, you're all fucking hipsters," to the audience. Immediately put them off, and
yeah,
then was pretending that was basically saying that he was dying, which he was, and then wrapped the wire mic around his neck and pretended to hang himself as if like, I'm hating this gig so much I'm going to kill myself, which then immediately just makes the audience fucking hate them. And yeah, I was
yeah.
sort of like, that's
That's
sabotage.
doubling down hard. Like
Yeah, and that was like, that room holds 60 people. There were 44 tickets sold that night, I remember, and I'm like, that is like, that should be a room that are up for comedy, but instead it's just fucking really bad sort of vibes now.
yeah, I know that. I think like because I'm a big advocate for you can do say whatever you want, but the audience have the right to react however they want.
Yeah, so
But
it's
also saying some rooms might not be for some comedians. Like I know if I did all like I don't, but say if I did all like anti-gay, anti-trans jokes, that was me as a comedian. I'm not going to go do an LGBT room, and I wouldn't
yeah,
expect them to book me on it. and I can't get annoyed if they say, right, well, we don't want to book this comedian.
Well, yeah, it's like if someone like if I kept dying in front of a big act who books a good room, and I kept dying, I would have no self respect if I were to message that guy and be like, or self awareness to be like, hey, can you book me? Because like all they've seen is you eat shit, like. So have some like the lack of self awareness of some people to be like, why doesn't he book me? And it's like
Yeah,
because you've either behaved badly around them or because you don't have the chops yet.
yeah,
And that is to me what it comes down to. Like, so it's just like you need to be there's a lot you need to be really sound off stage as well, which I think like or a lot of the time, especially when I started, I just didn't say anything. I just sort of was as silent as possible, and because I knew that like it would like if I started opening my mouth or whatever like that you just don't know what gets back to anybody like and stuff. And until I knew like I was in a room of friends, I didn't really want to start
yeah,
saying stuff. While other people who maybe just start are in green rooms going, fuck this guy and fuck them, why do they not book me and stuff? And it's like, well, have they seen you do well? Have you got 10 minutes? Have you been sound? Have
yeah.
you treated
Well,
them well?
I guess are other comedians your mates or colleagues?
Well, like I would, there's definitely comedians I would consider like good friends, like
Yeah.
friends for life and stuff. And then there's some who I see at gigs and we'll chat and we'll be friendly, but I would consider them colleagues. Like,
Well, I said, like, so say, like, like you go to a gig, you're with your boy Jerry. He's also gigging. He might be your boy there, but all the others might be your colleagues, but they're also in part of the conversation.
yeah, well, there's
It's like your best mate turning up to your workplace. Like
yeah,
you ain't gonna be like you are with him down at the pub.
yeah, there's times where like I've noticed in green rooms and stuff like that there are like not even green rooms. Most gigs I do don't have a green room. They're just like fucking at the bar and they
Yeah.
are at the back of the comic stand. But there are wee inside jokes you and your mate have, and then sometimes you realize oh there's other acts here who don't.
Hmm.
I try to be a bit silly sometimes and have fun with them because then it's like, you know, we're all in it together, like, and there's a bit of community vibe and stuff. And like it's when you're really close with someone and you know they're good and you see them die on their hole, then it's funny because you can laugh and you can go,
Yeah,
right, well, you know you're great. I know you're a fucking really good act.
yeah. Oh, there's something better when you know a comedian's good, but they eat shit. But like, I hate seeing a bad comedian eat shit, but I love seeing someone I know who's good eat shit.
Yeah, or like the worst is like if a bad comedian eats shit and they come off and they go, oh, they weren't ready for this or they
Yeah.
weren't ready
Oh,
for
shit
mine.
room. Oh, it's the crowd. No, like reassess that one. Reassess that one. I mean, so Joe, I've not even started off how I usually would start these ones off, brother. Why did you start comedy in the first place?
So I always sort of like sketches and stuff like that there and writing and watching comedy shows and stuff. And then I sort of discovered that like especially like moving away for university to England and I studied in Spain that
Oh
comedy
yeah.
was making
Whereabouts in
people
Spain?
Malaga and this was a bit Brits abroad, but it was nice like and
Okay. Yeah.
I sort of found that like comedy and being a bit silly was sort of the way that I could endear myself to people and people
Okay.
would like me compared to like if I uh if I tried to be cool, which I'm not like.
Oh,
So
did you think comedy was sexy?
and yeah, in a way that like
Yeah.
in a way that like yeah, like people enjoyed that side of me compared to if I tried to be cool or I tried to do drugs or I tried to um dress cool and stuff like that there. I always found comedy was a way I could relate to people just by being a bit silly rather than like trying to be like a guy who can talk about sport and goes to the gym.
Yeah.
So then I just sort of I got it and then I got mugged when I lived in Spain and stuff and I got my laptop taken off me. So I
Oh,
had a lot of free time. So I just started to write material and then I wrote a lot of material over lockdown.
not on a laptop though.
No, no,
Paper
fuck it.
based.
Yeah, like fucking pen and paper. And I thank fuck for lockdown in a way because if I had a then started stand up and immediately went into it, it would have just been the writings of an angry wee man. But I basically honed it, done a first set as a competition, won it, and then I won the competition, and then I got a couple more gigs from it, and then I just sort of went from there. Like, and it was fun. It was really exciting for the first couple of months. Probably dominated my life a bit too much in
Yeah.
terms of it ruined certain relationships in terms of like it was all I wanted to speak to people about and stuff. But you find something you love, it's kind of hard not to just want to talk about it all the time. Like,
100%. I mean, that's why I don't consider this podcast a job.
yeah,
It's
it's
literally talking about something I love.
Yeah, it's like I
For an
mean, if
hour
you
a day.
really,
I'm not gonna lie, it's quite cushy. So like,
if
did you
you're
get
really into,
bugged straight away?
yeah, yeah, oh, 100%. Like it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. Like in terms of like I couldn't sleep, and I had never experienced anything like it in my life, and especially because I don't know, like if it had gone terribly, I would have just left it. But
Yeah.
it was always on my mind. You just have to try this. You have to try this. You have to try this. If you don't do this, you're not gonna do anything else. If you don't do this, you're not gonna do this. And then I just tried it, and then it just became an obsession. And then I was like, right, well, I'd like to do this full time. And then obviously, I earn money from stand up, but I'm nowhere near doing it full time. But it's nice to say, oh, I got paid £100 there for fucking 15 minutes of my time, like, and
Yeah,
15 minutes of my
that's a flex. I mean, yeah, like most of the ones I do are either like, okay, it's funny actually. I even get I did a gig on Saturday, and I was offered either a free bar or 50 quid, so I took the free bar instead. I was
I
like,
mean, a lot of time my money goes on the fucking drink at the bar, like so but it is crazy, like that you all of a sudden like you're getting paid to do something that you love, like
yeah, it feels weird. It feels wrong.
yeah, but like a lot of time with musicians and stuff, if you're like you go to a bar and the guys in the acoustic guitar, people are talking over them, and a lot of times I don't go to a bar because I to hear people on acoustic guitar, I find them too loud and stuff, and people are talking over you. But while stand up, you get instant gratification from it, which is a dopamine addict like
You do, but
myself.
you also get instant feedback.
Yeah, and it's
You
like
know, you get feedback what every 15 seconds on stage.
yeah, and like that to me, that's good. That's great. Like, and you find like yeah, it's like especially when a new bit hits, it's like heroin.
Oh
There's
no! Oh, I was saying I've never done that, but every single job I've lived my party years. I've never had a bigger dopamine hit in my life
yeah,
than killing it on stage.
yeah. Like I used to be very fond of ecstasy, and like yeah, I would like to
Oh,
go back and try it and see. I haven't tried ecstasy since doing stand up, but I would like to try it again to see if it's as good as
but
when a gig goes good. Like
I,
because
I I don't touch ecstasy. I did ecstasy a couple times at uni. I did it once at 7 o'clock in the evening, thinking, okay, like look, I'll get a buzz on, be in bed by one. Gushti, I've got I had I did accountancy finance. I had a management accountancy um, test the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't come up till 7 o'clock in the morning.
yes, but that's one of the things of your digestive system and all that can
It
stay
was a
there.
it was a long ass fuse. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's fine, calm. Like, look, it was a dud. Went to bed. Woke up 7 o'clock in the morning. Fucking, like looking for it's like looking for one of them like like Christmas things where it's all like glacial.
yeah,
It was like that. I was like, fuck, I've got a test in 2 hours.
yeah. No, it's
So I'm
crazy.
staying
Like,
away from it.
but it has like I think maybe just due to like as you say uni, it's like I was sort of maybe lost in uni for trying to because my whole life was maybe building towards going to university because it's the party years when you get to uni and you're
Yeah,
there and you go right, well, what am I really doing myself?
yeah,
And then so I sort of maybe looked for the answer and partying with drugs and partying with ecstasy and coke and stuff, and then that never really, I never really needed that after doing stand up again. And like I remember the last time
yeah.
I did, I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
No, no,
Instead,
because it just writes off the next day. It changes your whole persona, and then you're just not as creative anymore. That's okay. I tell you, that's the weird thing I've always found because I've spoken to a lot of American comedians, and out there it seems to be more like the rock and roll lifestyle for comedians.
yeah, and I don't like the idea of like having a rock and roll life. Like I love being able to get up the next day and do, like I don't get me wrong, I fucking love a drink, like, and I really like a pint. I'll have a pint tonight.
Yeah.
But I also really like getting up the next day and being busy. I think being busy, I sound like a fucking shit motivational speaker here, but being busy is class. Being busy and
Yeah.
doing something you love, being busy and being is incredible. Like,
Oh,
and
I completely agree with that. And comedy sort of in comedy you have to be disciplined. So it is almost like discipline's also your real life also.
yeah,
You
well,
don't
if
want to
you're
become obsessed with it and neglect your real life because I mean when you start comedy you think you're going to be the next big thing, all that, and it humbles you real quick. And I'm sure every singer thinks the same, every footballer thinks the same. You've got to have skill, you've got to have skin in the game, but there is an element of luck.
But yeah, there's an element of luck, an element of being sound, and an element of just incredible hard work that you need to put in. And
Yeah,
if you're rolling into the house at 6 in the morning and you've been sniffing coke and you've been drinking vodka, you're not going to get up on stage the next day and be the best version of yourself. Well, it's not that like for example, like I have a big work day on the 17th for this month, and but I have a gig in about an hour and a half drive from Belfast the next day. So that immediately in my head is like, right, well, I'm not going to be able to go as sort of mad as I would like to on that work day because I have to get up and I have to have the discipline because it's
Yeah,
like, it's like the film Heat, like you have to have a certain discipline to
yeah,
this to
and teachers go hard.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So it's like you need to be disciplined or else like that's what separates like guys like Shane Todd don't really drink.
Yeah,
Guys like William Thompson and stuff like that. There, no, like I remember being out with William a couple of days before Christmas or sorry St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, oh, get on it, no, and he's like, well, no, because I have a flight early in the morning, and it's like, well, that's the guy that like he was going to Norway, and I'm like, that's
who
that's
are you?
that's the smart idea, yeah, yeah. Well, and so that's sort of something I've realized, like, and um, to me, it's just it's also probably better for my health as well.
Oh, I'm a million percent. Yeah, like so many hidden calories and shit. I mean, like like doing comedy so long. Like, what do you want out of comedy? What's like the penultimate goal?
Uh, to
Would
do
you
it
say you
full
want to changing the goalpost?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if the goal pushed, it was to do it full time by 30. I'm 27 now, so I think that's still achievable. But it is all like I mean, I do like adverts for shops and stuff, and being on TV and stuff. So I've got some sort of like like I remember watching guys like Shane Todd and Colin Geddes when I was sort of like this time 10 years ago and stuff like that there, and I was very lost as a teenager as well this time 10 years ago, and like now I am be friendly with them, and it's insane to me the idea of that, and I just to me it's like I look at the guy like I remember 10 years ago 11 years ago, sorry, discovering Shane Todd in secondary school and showing my friends and stuff like that. And then I was on stage with him in the Ulster Hall doing like a comedian Stars in Your Eyes, which was like just the craziest thing of like to me to wrap my head around at Christmas last year. So I feel like even if I didn't make it full time by 30, to say that I've done all this is a very blessed thing and something I'm incredibly grateful for. And like I feel like I still got so much more to give, and I love being busy about it. I love writing. I have a big gig tomorrow that I'm running. I don't know if I'm going to do a spot in the minute it's over. I'm going to fucking go right back to giving it my all at this gig tomorrow, like because after this gig tomorrow, because I don't know. Every time, as I say, it's like a dopamine hit when a new fucking bit lands. It's just
Yeah,
the best feeling ever.
and then you just want to get on stage again straight away.
Yeah, it's a drug you don't have to pay for. You just have to work for, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It is full. It is full time. I tell you what's mad about meeting like celebrity comedians and stuff. One, they're always shorter than what you think. Like
Yeah,
when they're on TV, like you think they're gonna be like some sort of like 7 foot god. And one thing I love the most about talking to comedians, I've interviewed some like big names, how normal they're just normal people.
yeah. Most of them are like any of the big acts in Belfast. They're just dads. Like they're dads, they're mums, and they're good. They glad to be out of the house for a couple of hours. And
Yeah,
no,
uh,
like Lab, the biggest gig in Belfast is a gig called Labrie's Comedy Club, and you go there, and it's just like, and there's a fridge full of beer for the acts, but most of them are drinking water, and they're just glad to be out of the house. And there's no like, oh, talking about banging fucking strippers or
it
you
was
know,
we haven't got that rock and roll lifestyle for some
yeah,
reason, like America does.
it is a very much Richard Curtis vibe to the comedy in the UK that there's no fucking like maybe like a couple of years ago, but there's none of that here. Like maybe in Dublin there might be a bit more rock and roll, but in Belfast it's
Yeah,
just like
that would have made. But I'm trying to think of like the UK comedians who are like who have made it, made it, who I could picture having that lifestyle.
well Russell Brand sort of ruined it for everybody. Like
Okay, fair. Okay, look, okay, I wouldn't consider him part of the data because he really is a. Okay, Noel Fielding, exceptions. Johnny Vegas, exception. Okay, maybe I've backtracked my statement a little bit. Maybe there are a lot of buck ups and stuff on the circuit. Okay, like so going 4 years. Um, what is sort of like your joke writing process? Like, and has it changed over the years?
um so I do sort of like when at the start I used to just write in a wee notebook and stuff, and I still do that, but I get an idea and I put it in the notes of my phone, and then I'll working on a school, you get a lot of time to yourself and stuff. And I'll think about the joke for a while, and then I'll put wee extra notes into the phone, and then I'll type it out on a laptop after, and then I'll walk around my living room and perform it. And then while I'm performing it, I find wee tags to add to it and stuff like that there. And then I will go to the gig, and there's normally a guy called Luke McGibbon there, who's just pretty much as close to a Mr. Miyagi figure as I can get.
Right.
And he'll always have notes for the gig for the bit and where to cut and where to like chop and change and where to make the bit better and where to make the bit less maybe vulgar or where I should maybe do an action compared to like other people who like other people maybe they write on stage where they get up and they just have the idea and they just talk and they record it, but I'm very much just sit down word for word, write it, figure out how it goes from there kind of guy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I was like, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, bang it on the phone, and then yeah, try and do it. But like, I have to write out word for word.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes maybe that makes you feel a bit too scripted, but for me it's always kind of worked
Mm.
for my style. Like, and there's other people who maybe like they get up and they work it out the material out on stage, but for me, I always enjoy getting up and doing it.
Mm.
Like, and there's times where I'm sitting down and I'm trying to write, and I'm like, I'm not funny at all. And then again, you need to live to do this for a living, so I go out, get a couple more life experiences, and I enjoy what I'm up to during the day, and then basically go from there.
Okay. So I'll ask as well. So you're sort of a comedian, just started out. Do you think it's more important to have like as much material as possible, or to have a solid five, a solid 10, and then start experimenting?
I think get a solid 10, like get a fucking solid 10, nailed down to the point where like if you get asked to do a club, you can go and do that solid 10 and you can start earning a bit of cash from stand up and you can start getting into other clubs and you can build a bit of a presence. And then you start bringing in new material every other bit maybe or every other set and trying to build and develop and stuff. Because I mean, when I started I heard like, oh, this guy's doing an hour of comedy. I figured, well, that's like an hour's easy. What the fuck's an hour like? And
Yeah.
then you realize how truly harsh an hour actually is to write of comedy. Like it's like that's why the best maybe release an hour every fucking couple of years. Like
Yeah, I mean, how would you do an hour? I don't know how you do an hour without doing a crowd work.
yeah, so it's like it's just sitting and writing and like I try to write every day, but sometimes I'm maybe writing 20 minutes and sometimes I'm writing an hour. But it's just the idea that if you do that, you'll get better because the guy who writes for 20 minutes every day is going to be better than the guy who writes for an hour every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing I'm struggling with right now. Doing the pod every single day, editing, social media and shit. My writing has definitely slowed down.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it is you like again you discover rediscover it and you rediscover why you loved it and
yeah,
you
100%.
go from,
I mean, like being a comedian and stuff. Fundamentally, if you want to make it, how important is it to be the best comedian, or in comparison to how important social media is now?
well I think like if you're like I mean there's people I know who have big social media online presences maybe they got 5K followers on Instagram but they like and people will maybe come and see them once but
Yeah,
once they see you once and they realize you don't have the chaps to back up the online presence then they'll
you're not
not
talking
come
about yourself, are you?
no.
Because you've got 5K. That's what.
Yeah, I can't. Well, yeah, maybe me after, maybe, yeah. There's definitely people who would agree with you, like, but there's like, yeah, it is like there are like they arrive and they're like the people will come and see them once, but they won't go
Yeah,
to me because they're like, right, well, this guy isn't as good as they say online. So I think there's a
yeah.
lot of
Well, that's the point. Like when we were about to do like the reels and crowd work, people are loving crowd work right now. But like, look, if you put me on the stage for 2 hours straight, I guarantee you. Okay, you gave me 2 hours on the stage, non-stop, doing pure crowd work. I will be able to produce a 10-second clip,
yeah,
and I can say, "Look how fucking great I am." You didn't see me suck dick for the other hour and 59 minutes.
yeah. Well, that's and it's like yeah, like I've heard of like you get one nugget of gold and you're like, oh well, look at that. You come see me, you're in for an hour of that when in
Yeah.
actual you're in for 10 seconds of that, and it's the 10 seconds you've just watched.
Yeah, that I can't replicate.
Yeah. So
And
it's just like I think learn to develop as an act first, and then you'll be able to put up clips online. And also, like, you don't want to get famous like two weeks into doing stand up, because or like then people,
expectations.
yeah, then your head will be wrecked. Like, you want to
Yeah,
be in the business long enough that you have like Mickey Bartlett, another act from the north, is like hours and hours of material, like, that he can just drop back into, do again and stuff like that there. And that's the guy who should be famous. Guy who's been doing it 18 years and could just
yeah.
switch it up at any time and bring in old material or new material.
Yeah, but there's also how marketable you are, element of luck and stuff. But I said I had Jamie Hutchinson on, great comic, great podcaster from Manchester, and he said he had to eat shit for 8 years till he started getting proper spots. That he was able after 12 years be able to start like living off it at a good amount. But he said he needed to go through them 8 years to become a good comedian. If he become known before that, then he wouldn't have lived up to his name.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, because like, I mean, I remember like someone tried. I was doing a gig in Donegal, which is like a rural part of Ireland, and someone
Yeah.
was like hyping me up as if I was like a big act, and they put me in the newspaper and all, and I went, and it was like, I'm a nobody, like, so why are you fucking hyping me up, like? So there's a lot of that there, but I mean,
Do
stand up
you,
it.
do you like the compare to hype you up before?
No, not really.
Oh yeah, the anti Seinfeld. He hates it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Like
like I like just being brought on as maybe this guy's dropping in to try some new stuff. This guy's here. He's been gigging all around the circuit in Belfast. I like that. I don't like this guy's when people go, "You're gonna love him. He's fucking amazing." I'm
yeah,
like, well, don't. I just say I like saying this guy's a good friend of mine, and then it's like, oh, so the compare likes him. We should give him the benefit of the doubt that he's gonna be good.
I did that as a compare, and I'll never do it again. I never first gig I ever compared. I was like, look, you're gonna love this guy. He's a close mate of mine. You're gonna love him. I've known him for ages. Great comedian. Please bring to the stage. And I forgot his name.
Yeah, well, that's as well. Yeah,
So he's your close mate. He's like, best mate, best man at my wedding, who saved me from a tiger. You're never
but
gonna
it
be a
is.
nicer guy than.
There's something nothing I hate more than
But
like if you're about to go on and the MC decides to do another fucking 10 minutes in between bringing you on. It's like, oh, come on here, like.
yeah, I mean, I'll say like with comparing, like it's a tough one because it's like sometimes like the compare is the show. He is the lion tamer, and other times it's like no, you're just the hype man.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, just there's a very fine balance between being selfish and being a good compere.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is challenging. Okay, I want to ask because I know all about the British scene. What's it like for female comedians in Ireland?
in Belfast in particular, there was a massive sort of growing maybe about 2 years ago. It stalled a wee bit and stuff. Like one of my good friends, Brona, she had a child and stuff, so she's coming back and hopefully is gonna be back at it. Like, but like there was a period where like I think Belfast, like there's a lot of good acts coming through at the minute, like Wafa Daldul, Rolling Con, like you're getting there, but it's like getting through, like compared to like, especially it can be a bit of a boys' club at times.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think in like the general numbers I've plucked out of my head are 1 in 6.
Yeah, so it'd be similar, and it's good to have like if I went to a comedy show and it was an all male lineup, it was 40 guys or load of guys in their 40s. I wouldn't really want to fucking watch that. Like it
No,
is nice to have a different perspective and stuff out there. So that's to me my personal view on it anyway. Like,
oh, brother, 100%. Like I gig in Essex quite a bit in east of London, and like it's a very like you don't want to hear the same jokes over and over again told from a different perspective.
yeah,
You want,
there's a lot of I hate my wife, I hate my girlfriend's a bitch, but then you get the other, you want another perspective of it, and that's just sort of my
yeah,
thing. Like, I don't want four white guys on a lineup. You want diversity because it helps you understand jokes from different perspectives, and
and
you're,
Neapolitan ice cream, whatever the fuck it's called. All right.
yeah. You don't want the fucking you don't want
Vanilla
to
gets boring after a while. Like get some flavors in there.
yeah, you don't want to line up with Phil Mitchell's. So it is.
Yeah,
I
100%.
yeah.
100%.
I
So,
actually have to bounce now to go to a gig, but this has been very, very fun as well, man.
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Look, I will end it with this one then, because I always need to end it with this one.
Yeah.
Someone's never done comedy before. Um, they come to you for advice. What advice would you give them? You can't say just do it.
I would say learn to die before you start uploading stuff online. Go for it, just but also learn to die. Learn to realize you'll be shit and you'll be shit for years on end. Don't be making Instagram profiles of James Donnelly comedy immediately, like because then people are gonna go, "Oh, this guy's a hype man." Just become an act. Build yourself over 6 months, 12 months. Get your 10, then do your 15, then maybe make the page, then start maybe like trying to develop yourself as a character rather than just immediately landing on the scene and going, right, I'm making a fucking new Instagram channel for myself.
Yeah, love that. Robert, cheers for coming on, man. Really
Thank you
enjoyed
very
it.
much. It's a
Best of luck with
pleasure.
your gig tonight.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
But much love, dude. Have a good one.
Pleasure.